Welcome to my chess lecture on the double attack. So what is a double attack? Well, a double attack is a simultaneous attack of one piece against two of your opponent's pieces. It's also referred to as a fork. Any piece actually has the ability to double attack two opponent's pieces, or two of your opponent's pieces. But the queen and knight double attacks are the most common, and king double attacks are quite rare. So now I just want to spend some time covering different forking positions so that you get a clear understanding. In this position, let's say it's white's turn to move, and actually black is, or white is actually double attacking black. What do I mean by this? And maybe I'll just use the term fork because it's shorter. White is actually forking the knight and bishop because it's attacking, or it can't capture both the knight and the bishop. Okay? And just to sort of, maybe there's a sort of an unwritten thing about a double attack is that, you know, the pieces are sort of undefended, or they can't move to a position to where they can be defended. This is especially true since anytime you have where they're attacking pieces of superior value, okay? Meaning if we can move the knight or the bishop to a position to where they would be protecting each other, white would have to reconsider capturing because it would capture the rook or the bishop, and then it itself would be recaptured, and we know that that's not good because the rook is more valuable. And I'll show you an example of this, of a double attack to where it's not beneficial. But here, you know, the bishop cannot move anywhere where it would protect the knight because the black bishop only ever resides on black, and here the black knight is on white, so anywhere where we move the bishop, it's never going to protect the knight. The knight's never going to move anywhere where it can protect the bishop because the bishop's so far away. So if the bishop moves, we'll capture the knight, and if the knight moves, we'll capture the bishop. Okay? Let's move on. Or actually, I'm going to skip the knight fork and cover that in a separate lecture. Let's move on to a double attack by the bishop. Okay, I set up this position, and let's say it's black's turn to move. Now black can make a move which will double attack or fork both of the white rooks, and that move is here, because now it attacks both of these bishops. Okay, so now whatever move white makes is going to lose a rook. Let me show you what I mean by this. So, you know, let's say white moves here. Now the black bishop just captures. Now it itself will be recaptured, but we've actually, if you think about it, we've captured black has gotten a rook for a bishop. Okay? And let's say if white moves here, then black will simply just capture down here, like this. Doesn't matter. There's plenty of different moves out there for white to move and to recapture the black bishop. But basically, like we said, tactics is the idea is to win material, and winning material means we can win a more valuable piece for our piece, and that is winning material. So once again, black moves, and then we can just recapture. Let's move on to the queen. Okay, I've set up this position, and let's say it's white's turn to move. Now, technically, white can move to here. Okay, let's do that. And white is now forking, technically double attacking two of the rooks. But unfortunately, white is not going to be able to win material, because black has a couple moves where it would actually it can't gain material. So while it's a double attack, it's not a double attack where we're going to win material, but it is a double attack where we're going to limit black's choices of moves, which is sometimes a good idea in chess. So let's say black decides to move here. Now these rooks are sort of guarding each other. So if the queen decides to take one, the other one recaptures, and actually black just got a queen for a rook. So actually black came out on the better side. Well, that isn't a good idea for white. Sort of black could even make this move. And if white decides to recapture, let's say this one, same thing happens. Black gets a queen for rook. White doesn't come out on the winning side. So not all double attacks produce winning material, but notice that black only has a few moves that it can do. I can think of 4 off the top of my head, but white's not going to win material. I'm going to show you an example where white would win material. Okay, in this position, white can make a move and fork 2 of black's pieces and actually win one of them. And the move is moving the queen to here, because in this position the queen attacks both pieces. Okay? And unfortunately, black has no good reply or move to where it can actually guard both of these pieces. And hopefully I'm driving the point home of guarding your pieces in chess, because the usual victims in these chess tactics are pieces that are not guarded or protected by another chess piece. So here, black cannot move the bishop and still retain the keep the rook, and neither can black move the rook and keep the bishop. One of them is going to be lost. So no matter what move black makes with this bishop, the knight will be lost. And if black decides to move the bishop, the rook will be lost. Okay? So let's move on to pawn forks. Okay, in this position, it's white's turn to move, and white can make a move that will double attack or fork 2 of black's pieces. This move is this move right here, because now the pawn attacks both the black bishop and the black rook. I want to say the pawn isn't a very effective forker, because if you think about it, forks are more sort of more superior, better, when the piece that's forking is of lesser value than the pieces that they're forking. Sort of like, pawn is forking, knight and bishop, or where, bishop forks 2 rooks. No matter what happens, the piece that's doing the forking is going to come out on the better side. But as we saw in a previous example where the queen forks 2 pieces, it's not necessarily always that you're going to come out on the winning side or be able to win material. But with the pawn, yeah, you're always going to probably be able to win material, because no matter which piece moves, even if it can be protected again. Let's say now black just moves to the side. We're going to capture and recapture. Still, white got a bishop for a pawn. Or let's say black wants to do this move, then we're still going to get a rook for a pawn. White's going to come out on the winning side. So that's the pawn fork, and you want to be very mindful of these, of how you set up, two pieces that are sort of just separated by 1 square, and if your opponent can move a piece forward, it's usually a very good opportunity for you to fork a piece or for you to be forked by your opponent. Well, that concludes my lecture on the fork, but in my next lecture I'm actually going to cover the knight fork.